If you're interested in outdoor photography and you're looking to shoot with an outdoor fashion brand, please stay with me because in today's video, I'm going to break down how I shot these 3 photos. Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. It's great to see you again. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the whole process of shooting with an outdoor fashion brand. We're going to be using a raincoat jacket, a windproof, waterproof by Regatta Outdoors, and we're going to be working with a model. On this occasion, our model is going to be Greg. He's done a great job. He's acted absolutely like a professional model. And we are shooting in a beautiful Peak District. We're going to take you to a location called Solomon's Temple, and we're going to take you through our journey from the very beginning to the very end. I'm not only going to explain to you the details of how I took those photos, but I'm also going to explain to you the context of those photos. I'm going to explain why they're really important, especially when you're working with an outdoor brand. The whole route included an open fields, a forest, and a hill with a beautiful view of Buxton town. And we decided to utilize all 3 of those landscapes into our photos. On a side note, before we started our shoot, we made sure that we planned not only what shots of a jacket and the features that it includes we wanted to take, but also how to bring the context of a brand and persona that it targets. We put together all of those points and we made sure that the whole shoot that we are producing is consistent with the brand's voice. All right, so it's time to move on to the photo number 1. Here we go. All right, so first things first, let's bring the context of why I think this photo is important. So this particular photograph is focusing quite a lot on the landscape. We've got a model in the middle holding his camera. However, we cannot say that this photo specifically showcases the jacket itself. However, this photo brings us the brand story, the brand context into the picture. So this particular brand is an outdoor fashion brand. It's a brand for adventurous people, brand for hikers, runners, nature lovers, anything that is related with an outdoor. So a photo like that showcasing beautiful Peak District hills, greenery during the sunset is a really strong representative of what the whole brand is about. Just think of those key attributes, whether it's a luxurious brand, maybe it's a brand with a strong city vibes, anything like that, make sure you include that on your photograph. Now moving on to technical points of that photograph, it's been taken on a 24 to 70mm lens on a 40mm length. The f-stop level is set for 3.2 because we're going for a little bit more blurry effect rather than very strong and clear background. The shutter speed is on 250, which is just about right for a moving object. Just like you can see, Greg is slowly walking towards me. It was high enough for me to keep him in a frozen position. He is not blurry, he is pretty static. And finally, our ISO is set for 400. This photo has proven to be particularly tricky purely because of the weather conditions. Despite the fact that we were shooting it around the golden hour time, we had pretty dark clouds at a part of the sky, and the remaining part of the sky was completely blown out with the sun, so we couldn't really even it out. Therefore, loads of work was left for me in a post-production. So let me take you through that process now. I wanted to show you guys the before photo that you can see over here. Just like I mentioned, part of the sky is completely blown out and another part is completely dark. In order to fix this, I selected the blown out part of the sky and I copied and pasted it onto a new layer. I then stretched that layer to cover the whole part of my sky and furtherly moved on to decreasing the brightness. This process has allowed me to decrease the huge difference in the contrast between the bottom and the top part of the sky. Time for photo number 2, and here we go. On this photo, we can see the full body of our model. And the reason why this photo is important is because it helps us showcase the whole look of the clothing our model is wearing. When you're shooting with a clothing brand, there are 2 case scenarios. You're either shooting the whole look and therefore head to toe without multiple distractions on the right, left, and top and the bottom side of the photo. And the second option is that you're shooting with just one piece of clothing, just like we did with our jacket. And a photo like this will help showcase the audience how to style that one particular piece of clothing, what goes great with it, what looks great altogether. Speaking of the technical details of those photos, the focal length is 28mm, the f-stop is set for 3.2, just like on the previous photos, because again, I just wanted to get this blurry, delicate background. On top of that, my f-stop is set for 100. Speaking of the composition and the looks of this image, first thing I wanted to point out is Greg's face and his skin tone. It's slightly orange, it slightly has this lovely orange tilt, and it is because we shot it around the golden hour time, which is my absolute favorite time of the day to shoot outdoors. We also wanted to keep this great contrast between the greenery on the one half of the photo with the blues of the sky on the other half of the photo. The weather conditions were changing pretty quickly, so we managed to avoid the problem that we had on the photo number 1. The sky is pretty even out, it's a little bit grayish, bit cloudy. However, it goes very nicely with the hills that you can see at the back. So the reason why I like this photo so much is because all the colors go so nicely together, providing us with beautiful aesthetic, natural visual. And finally, time for photo number 3. And here is the photo where we focus all the attention on the jacket itself. We can see that the brand logo is visible, clear and easy to read. The photo captures only the upper body. There are no distractions towards any other pieces of clothing. And we can look at the jacket with a little bit more detail. We also wanted to bring the brand context of this photo, so instead of having Greg posing in a studio or just standing still, we wanted him to wear his backpack, fitting it, showcasing that he's ready to go on adventure. So the adventurous side of the brand is still showcasing and speaking through us. Whenever you're taking this type of a photo, I would definitely advise to take a few extra shots that are going to focus only on the details that the specific product consists. So that might be a detailed shot of a logo, of a zip, or any specific details that a product might consist. That stands out, that is worth for a brand to showcase and for people to feel a little bit more informed about the product. Speaking of this photo, I just wanted to drop you with an extra tip. Sometimes during the photo shoot, whenever we see the specific backdrop, the specific background, or we see the specific style and the look, it just works so perfectly in our head. We can just imagine this perfect shot. However, whenever we pose the model against a specific backdrop, it's just something that just isn't right. It might be the light, it might be specific composition, that it just doesn't go well together. If that happens to you, please make sure that you experiment with your photography. This photo is best example, and let me explain you why. We can see the light is going directly onto Greg's face, giving us very, very delicate, hardly visible shadows. On top of that, we've got dark green, contrasty green, coming from the forest, from the trees, and slightly bit more delicate light greens at the bottom. But now, let's look at this photo. The photo has been taken in the exact same spot. The only difference is that me and Greg, we moved slightly, so the angle changed. And the way the light and shadows work on Greg's face, and the product itself is completely different. The photo is much more cinematic with the way light works on Greg's face. We can also see that the greens from trees are so much lighter, they're so much more consistent. And also this little part of the path that we can see at the bottom, all together with a part of the sky, the color matches a little bit better with Greg's skin. So when we compose these two photos together, we can see that they provide us with two completely different visuals, despite being taken in the exact same location. But I know from my own experience that sometimes I just cannot get that photo right, where in reality, all it takes is just a subtle change of the angle, a subtle step to the right or to the left, and that's all it takes that will get us to the photo that we visualize in our heads. Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you following our photography journey. If you learned anything from this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you've got any question, please drop me a comment. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And if you want to continue learning about videography and photography, please subscribe to our channel. I've been Eva from Destination Collective. See you next time.